Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a 3 looks 1 palette with the Muerte Palette by Meltcosmetics. Cosmetics. I was actually asked by one of you in the comments to make a video or to do like a look. I'll give you some inspiration with this palette. So I thought, why not? Let's do a 3 looks 1 palette video. And yeah, so I do really hope that this was helpful, or I guess you haven't seen the video yet, so I do hope that this is helpful for you. Definitely let me know down below what you do think, but let's just jump on in to the video. For look number 1, I'm going to start off with this shade here. Taking the Morphe M506, I'm just going to start stamping that into the outer third of the eye. One thing I have noticed with these shadows is that it is definitely important to stamp. They are a really powdery formula. So I've noticed to get the absolute best pigmentation, it works the best just to stamp. I'm also going to take some along the lower lash line. Taking a melt round transition brush, I'm going to go ahead and dip in with this lighter shade. Same idea, I'm going to stamp that into the inner part of the eye. Inner third overlapping into the center. I wish this palette had a bit more variation with the shades. I do feel like there's a lot of shades that are kind of similar in terms of depth. So we're just going to be creating our own shade for the center. Using that same brush, I am going to go ahead and just soften around the edges, especially in the front. Just because I don't want this to be like too heavy of a line. I want it to be nicely blended out. I'm going to use the same brush we just used, dipping in with a little bit of this more blue shade. And I'm going to tap that just along the outer edge color. But this is what I'm definitely talking about when I talk about the depth. The depth is identical to the other shade, and I just wish there was a bit more variation. You might see I'm just taking my brush and I'm tapping and lightly pulling to help the two colors to blend together to start to make this somewhat third shade. You can definitely do some like actual blending circular motions to help them to blend in together. Next, I'm going to go ahead and just start focusing mainly on getting this outer edge blended. So I will just be going back in with this lighter shade. I'm also going to take some of that along the inner part of the eye. The same exact thing that I did on the inner part. I'm just tapping. Now the edges are not, you'll see like there's definitely a harsh line. We will fix that. I'm just laying down the product to get the best pigmentation, because unfortunately with these shadows, at least of what I've noticed playing with them, when I just kind of fluff it all around, which I do with other shadows, when I just fluff it all around, I'm not getting that rich pigmentation that I want, and it tends to look a bit more messy. With a lighter shade, you can definitely do that, especially if you want it to be a bit more of a sheer wash, but I think to get that true intensity that I want, especially with this palette, you really need to pack. So just like in the center, I am going to go ahead and take this blue shade with the same brush. I'm just going to lightly tap around all the edges. With this step, definitely it's just going to take some practice. I'm still figuring out how far I like to take things out, but I think that that's the fun with makeup, is really just playing around, blending, practicing. Because a lot of times I notice for myself, because I have such a quite large amount of space here, I will like to pull it out more, as I feel like it just creates a bit more symmetry. Does it? I don't know. But I like the way that it looks. I will go ahead and speed through this part, but you will definitely see all I'm doing is just taking that shade, stamping, allowing it to blend in with the other color, just to see what kind of shape that I like. I'm going to go ahead and take another brush from Melt. I think this might actually be the same brush, but it's clean, another round transition. And I just want to be able to start blending anything out that might be a bit too harsh. Now, one thing I will do as well, because you might tell I do not have foundation on this half of my face, and usually I will wait till my eyeshadow is done to apply the foundation, and then I will always go back in with a good brush, which I will definitely show you, but to blend it in with the base. So now it is time for some shimmers. So Melt is definitely not known for their shimmers, unfortunately. They tend to just not be the best. The ones in this palette I don't feel like are the worst. Let me go ahead and swatch. They're definitely not the worst, so we will be using them a little bit, but I do think I will be dipping in with some other products because, again, they tend to not seem to be that good. I just feel like the formula possibly just might be a bit older. I don't know. And I do hope that Melt one day does dive in with that, but needless to say, because the formula is not as good with the shimmers, I am gonna go ahead and go in with a glitter like primer adhesive. So I am using, this is the Ladybug Glow Sparkle Primer, and then taking this, I think it's a flat detail wide brush. I do like this one. It's a really massive, like, flat brush, but I do like it a lot. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply over the center all the way in to the front. And then I usually just kind of tap to help it to blend along the edges a bit, maybe with my finger. Starting with our lightest shade. Same brush. Definitely going to have to layer up quite a bit to get pretty nice opacity and nice shine. There's just something about these that just aren't giving quite enough reflection that I want. It's pretty. I'm not gonna, it's obviously pretty, but I think with the formulas that I've been obsessed with and have been seeing in more recent launches, there's a lot more metallic. There's a lot more reflection that I feel like is missing with some of these eyeshadows. I really do hope that Melt does get on their shimmer formula because I like their mattes. I do like their mattes. I do like their color story. Melt definitely is a really cool brand, but they just, I don't know, the shimmers just aren't given what some of us want them to give. There we go. The finger as well can definitely help to get full opacity, but again, it's just not my kind of thing. If you like this, I mean, this is definitely shimmery. I think it's, when you're given these like really good formulas, it's no comparison, I feel like sometimes. And you just, at least for me, I really like a nice strong shine. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip in with the bluer shade, Shimmer. Same brush, I just wiped it off on a towel. And then just tapping over that center area. I'm gonna go in a little bit with my finger just to get a stronger pigmentation. I do love the color of the shade. It is a nice, hopefully you can see how like rich that is. So now to make it pop even more. So I am cheating, going in with a different palette. So this is the Resurrection palette from Wicked Widow. So I will be going in with this shade here. And I appreciate that this, in my opinion, has this really good formula that I don't really feel like I need to use a glitter adhesive with. But of course, definitely feel free. But this is just, ooh, you can just see it. That's so shiny. If Melt can do this would be great. Now we also have this brand Wicked Widow, so that's also great. Kind of want all brands to have really rich, shiny mermaid shades. Like this one just gives me a red. I'm also just going to take a little under the eye with the brush. So we have reached the end of look number 1, but I'm just going to run through everything I am wearing real quick. So a lot of things are going to be normals that I use. So e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand for the contour, the Nightmare on Elm Street from Glamlight Blush Melt Supernatural Mascara. For the lips, all I'm wearing is just a little bit of a black liquid lipstick in the outer edges, so it is the Trixie Cosmetics Feature Liquid Lipstick. And then I have Encanto Blue Liquid Lipstick Frostbite in the center. For eyeliner, again, nothing new and special, so I did just use the Milani Stay Put Eyeliner After Dark. NYX Waterproof Epic Wear eyeliner shade black, and then Essence Silky Nude eye pencil in the waterline. Very, very simple. Let's go ahead and jump on into the next look. Alright, we are back for number 2. Today I really want to focus more on the red side. First I'm going to go in with the B4 brush from Blend Bunny, dipping in with this deeper red shade. And I'm just going to build that up into the outer third. So I really want the red to be the star of the show, so I will be dipping in with this bright red shade using a Morphe M456. Tapping that into the center. This time I can tell I'm really going to have to tap to build up that pigmentation. Like, it's there, but I can tell that it's a bit more powdery than the last shade that we used. Go around the edges. So Just tapping. So I'm just going to go in with the M431 from Morphe, just a pencil brush. With that same red shade, and just take it under the eye in the center. Going in with the tapered shadow brush from Melt, I'm going to go ahead and dip in with this lightest shade here. It is a shimmer shade, but unfortunately there's like no other shade that I want to use that will transition out the front. But I am just going to pop that into the inner front part. I might also use this color for the brow bone. Tap over that red shade to help it blend in. I feel like I'm almost also kind of, as I'm tapping, I'm like pushing a bit of the red in with it to really help it to blend a lot better together. But I feel like those of you who are really struggling with your eyeshadow blending, tapping can honestly go a very long way. I used to tap a lot. I mean, I guess I still do. And it really helps to get that blend. I'm going to go ahead and start blending out. I'm going to use this small brush. This is from Revolution, the Beetlejuice collection a couple years ago. I feel like I want to increase the amount of like pigment on this outer corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and re-intensify with our original brush and that deepest red shade. And this is really the part where figuring out your eye shape and what you like on yourself really comes into play. And I definitely encourage you to just take your time, play with your shadows, and just try out different eye shapes to see what you actually like. So for me, I can tell that I want to have more depth in that like outer wing kind of area. So I am just taking a bit more of that product and pulling it out. Usually what I will do for like this shape here is I will match it up to the curvature of my brow. I don't know if that's really a thing, but hey, for me, it helps. And I feel like it also helps me to have that like angled look, because I know for a long time that was something I really struggled with. Back with this brush here and dipping into that bright red. I'm going to take a big brush, the Morphe M441, just to start buffing out the edges. So now it is time for the shimmer. So I will be cheating like I did yesterday just because, as previously said, the shimmers just unfortunately from Melt are just not as good. So I will be going in with one of my current favorite Elements of Evil from Sugar Drizzle Cosmetics. So I am just going to be taking this shade here. So this to me in the palette is looking like a green, but it is just wait. Let's put it on the lid. This, like I said yesterday with that other palette, the base in this is really good that I don't really need to add a glitter adhesive. And it just, is that even, I really hope you can see the shine here. Let me try and lower this. Ooh, there you go. You can really see the intensity. Unfortunately, you can't really see the duochromeness in this shade. But it is just beautiful. I'm going to go back in with that flat melt brush that we used earlier just to apply a little bit more of the product and to help it to blend in around the edges. Tapping over that red shade. Oh yeah, this looks stunning. So let's just talk through the rest of the look, and then totally don't mind my gray blonde little streak here. I had a little bit of foundation on my hand, and yeah, this is what happens when you don't think and you do this. So, yeah, I'm sure a lot of you can hopefully relate with me, but let's talk through the rest. I used my normal Milani Stay Put eyeliner After Dark, Silky Nude eye pencil from Essence, and then the Black Epic Wear waterproof liner from NYX. Curled my lashes, and then the Supernatural mascara from Don't That I Love. Applied my foundation, and then went in with contours. This is still that Glow Wand from e.l.f. that I have been loving / using up. For blush, I did go in with the Nightmare on Elm Street little blush trio, that peachy one. Highlighter, I did go ahead and use from my strobe palette. This one here that I've been trying to use up. For lips, I did just use the Stay Put eyeliner again from Milani. After dark, I used a little bit of this black liquid lipstick feature from Trixie Cosmetics on the outer edges. Filled in with Anti-Socialite from Sugar Pill, one of my favorite reds. And then I'm trying, and I'm hoping I'm gonna like this. Some of you may or may not know, I'm not really keen on the whole glossy lip. I like the look, but I hate the feeling of it. So I did use, I've had this for a while, so this is the Color Stain ink from Revlon, shade Raining Red. So I just applied that to like the bottom lip and the top lip, not really in the center. So I'm hoping it's not really feeling sticky, because this is one of those products that are pretty sticky. But yeah, that is it for today's look. Let's go ahead and roll on into our last look. Alright, look number 3. So we are started off with this light blue shade. I'm just using this kind of fluffy flat brush. Just working that into the inner third of the eye. Taking some on the bottom inner third. Grabbing this big old fluffy brush, the Morphe JS5. I'm going to use that to buff everything out so far in the front. I'm going to go ahead and take this flat brush from Odensai. It doesn't have a name, unfortunately. And dipping in with the bright red shade, line that just in the center. I don't know if I like this red. I feel like this is one of the only shades in this palette that, like, it lays down nice, but it has given me trouble showing up most of the time. Like, I feel like it blends away, and I really don't like that. Using the same brush, I'm just gonna start pulling the lighter color in with the red to get that to blend together. I take the JS6 from Morphe, dipping in with this like dark teal shade, outer third, a little underneath. Dipping back in with our brush that we used for the red, I'm just gonna tap over that teal shade and start pulling it towards the red. M431 pencil brush from Morphe with that red, run that underneath the eye into the center. And then back with that brush from Odensai, dipping again in with the red. I'm just going to take it all around the edges of the teal shade, start kind of blending it together. I'm going to go back in with that original big fluffy blending brush just to start blending everything in together. I'm going to go ahead and take this, unfortunately it has no name. I'm going to dip in with this lighter shade, run that along the edges of the red. I'm going to go ahead and re-intensify this darker edge real quick with the same shades. I'm just going in with the red, taking it a bit higher, because I was noticing, especially on camera, that it looks kind of weird. I don't know if it's just my lighting or what, but I feel like in person it doesn't look that weird, but on camera this area just looks super light. I'm also going to go in with our deeper shade and bring that higher as well. I think that's looking better. Alright, back with this fluffy brush that we used for that lighter shade, just to soften everything together. Okay, so for shimmers, I just have a little bit of the Ladybug Glow Sparkle Primer. Flat shading brush from Melt. I'm going to apply that all over the eyelid. First up, I'm going to take that darker blue shade, the outer third of the lid. And then I am going to cheat because this palette does not have like a shiny red. So I am just taking a palette we used earlier, Resurrection from Wicked Widow, the red metallic shade. Apply that in the center. But wiping off my brush, I'm going to dip in with our lighter shade. Apply a little bit to the brow bone. And then to the inner part of the eye. Take a little bit underneath. I'm going to go also in with this light teal shade. And that is the eyes. I think I'm just going to run through and finish up the eyes real fast, just using my 3 normal products. So liquid liner from NYX, the black. We got the Silky Nude from Essence, and then the After Dark Stay Put eyeliner from Milani. Per usual as well, I'm just going to curl the lashes and then apply the Melt Supernatural Mascara. Okay, so I would basically say we're finished. I'm just going to run through everything that I did on the rest of my face. So highlighter, I just continued to use the Strobe Genius. So this shade for the blush, this Chest of Souls palette. I did this reddish one. I feel like it kind of looks a bit pinkier, maybe red, but I feel like it kind of complemented the eyes. For lips, I could not decide, so I went ahead and just did Feature Liquid Lipstick, the black, on the lips with the Milani Stay Put After Dark liner as per usual. That is everything for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that this was helpful, especially if you do have this eyeshadow palette. I really hope that I gave you some looks to feel inspired by or to create some stuff. And definitely let me know down below what you do create or if it was helpful, all of that stuff. And go ahead and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you on my next one. Okay, bye!